Hello boys and girls, Vlad here, and this here is the Raijintek Scylla Pro 360 custom water cooling kit. With it you can make something like this, a fully water cooled PC which is absolutely insane in terms of cooling power and actually noise as well, because this thing is super quiet even at full load. But first, let me show you what's in the Scylla package and explain to you what are the benefits of having this kit versus the AIO or the air coolers. PS, air coolers don't stand a chance here. So let's begin the unboxing procedure. Everything is neatly packed and protected as well. We have the filling bottle here. It's a rather small one, 250 milliliters, but the good thing is that this can squeeze in tight spots in your case. The next thing is the 4-keys RBW CPU water block, which is Intel LGA 1700 ready out of the box, so if you are planning to build a PC around the latest Intel 12th Gen CPUs, Raijintek got you covered. And it also supports all other CPU sockets as well. This thing is massive, like really massive, with 459 grams and extremely premium looking. You can see that the build quality is excellent. Black parts mixed with chrome and clear acrylic top go so well together. It's also equipped with RGB, so you can give some cool flair to your build. The block is fully copper and also nickel plated. The CPU mounting clips are aluminum and the top is POM or the acetal. The microchannels inside the block are optimized for a better flow and all the parts inside are polished for squeezing every little ounce of performance from it. Speaking of polished things, check out the cold plate base of the block. Nickel plated mirror finish, it looks so nice. Next item in the box is the Calor 360 full copper radiator. It is full copper, obviously, covered in black of course, and this kit also comes in 240 variants, so pick your champion and enjoy. In the box there are 3 rubber dampeners, which are used to dampen the noise the fans may produce while working or any vibrations that may occur while working. It's a nice touch really. It has inlet and outlet, G1/4-inch standard threading only on one side. I mean, this is a radiator, nothing much to say about it. Hot water comes in on one side, cold water exits on another side, it's physics. Standard dimensions 393 by 120 by 27 millimeters. The next item is the Ray Aqua T1 coolant. This is basically distilled water mixed with 5% propylene glycol to stop any algae growth in your system and to prevent corrosion. You get 2 bottles for a total of 1 liter of coolant, and you will see why in a moment. Here is where some kits differ. This one comes with PETG hard tubes, 4 of them, each 50 centimeters long, 14 mm outer diameter and 10 mm inner diameter. They are labeled Ray Turbo H14, and what I meant by this is where this kit differs from the other kits, it's that there are also kits available with soft tubes as well, and what is not mentioned here is that for the hard tubes you will need silicone inserts and a heat gun to properly bend them. Working with soft tubes is much easier, and that is why I would recommend, if you are a beginner to a custom water cooling, all you need is scissors or a scalper and you are pretty much ready to go. But on the other hand, hard tubes give you much more possibilities in terms of tube positioning and really creating some unique and stunning bends. But here is the main star of the show. This is the Antilla DDC Evo RBW Pump Plus Reservoir combo. This here, guys, is real glass opposed to the acrylic plastic found on most other reservoirs. This thing will not scratch, this thing will not change color to some milky clouded mess. This is the real deal. The whole thing is super heavy and super premium looking and feeling actually. It has no imperfections, no residues inside, nothing like that. The build quality is superb. The reservoir is held as well with aluminum reinforcements, which also adds to the overall look of the whole combo. The pump is of course the D5 with acetal top, which has some pretty nice specs: 6.5 meters of head lift, 750 liters per hour discharge and 5 levels of speed. It's totally quiet, by the way. It has ceramic bearing inside, which means that it's built to last. And this is actually one of the main reasons to buy this kit over the others, because the D5 pumps are usually quite expensive and other DIY kits almost always include cheaper pumps. There are 2 inlets on top, actually one is the inlet, the other is a fill port. On the bottom side there is an inlet but also an outlet as well. As mentioned, on the bottom there is a manual switch to set the pump speed. It has 5 levels and each level corresponds to approximately 1000 RPM, so in a loop with a single radiator 2 will be more than fine, maybe 3 just to be safe. For more radiators, increase speed if necessary. The pump is powered with a SATA cable, there is a speed monitoring cable as well as a proprietary Raijintek RGB connector. Remember that I told you that you are getting 2 bottles of coolant? Well, you can see why now, because this thing is 220mm in height, it's super massive. This kit also includes 3 RGB fans, these are the EOS 12 RBW models, these are the addressable RGB of course, but they come with the controller and with proprietary Raijintek connectors, which are also used on a CPU block and on a reservoir as it's also RGB. So if you wish to use lights with this kit, the controller is a must. So the controller can operate completely independently of your motherboard, or you can connect it to the board and use the software for it. It comes with this little remote. I am not a big fan of this because I'm constantly losing it, so motherboard control for me, I guess. The fans are pressure optimized for use on radiators with RPM range from 800 up to 1800. They are also super quiet at only 28 decibels max thanks to the use of a hydraulic bearing inside. Inside the box, I mean inside the kit, you will also receive 6 straight fittings and 6 90-degree angled ones. I would steer away from angled ones, mainly because I have a bad experience with them. By my fault, of course. Let's say that I had a flood, but let's keep that between us, okay? Yeah. But if you are a first-time builder with hard tubes, this is actually much easier to use than to bend the tubes. You would not need any additional tools other than a small saw to cut the tubes, that is. This is completely up to you. In my opinion, bent tubes look way nicer. The fittings are black with a golden Raijintek logo and they all have these diamond-shaped grooves for tighter grip when you screw them on later on the tubes. But let me tell you something more about the loop I am running in this stunning Paiyan premium case, conveniently also from Raijintek, and it is gigantic by the way. Seriously, look at this thing, look at the proportions of it. It has separate chamber in the bottom that can fit 2 360 radiators, you can fit one more on the side and one more on the top for some extreme loop, but mine is not that extreme, or is it now? So here are the parts that are used in this build. I went with the Gigabit X570S board, AMD Ryzen 9 5900X, and on purpose because this thing is a furnace. The Noctua D15 barely handles it, 360 AIOs as well, so I wanted to see how will the custom loop gonna keep up, but with a little twist. I am adding a GPU into the loop as well, a 360 Ti Gaming OC by Gigabit, also with AlphaCool IceBlock GPX. The memory of choice is the Team Group Extreme ARGB White because I went with this black and whitish kind of theme here. The case is white, everything is white, so just to keep it all uniform. I will not bother you that much with all the specs as I will release a build video too, so I will focus more on the loop itself now. Putting 2 more 360 radiators from AlphaCool in the bottom chamber of the Paiyan case with Deepcool FC120 white fans again to match the whole white theme. Anyhow, the loop is as follows. The pump is going down to the bottom chamber to one of the radiators, which is then connected to the another one as well, and then it goes to the GPU from there, and from there to the CPU, which then goes to the top mounted radiator and back to the reservoir and the pump. So pretty much it should all be pretty chill. I have decided to bend all the tubes. This is a tedious process and requires a lot of patience, also trial and error if you are inexperienced. I did have a bending kit, but in the end I ended up eyeballing every turn and measurement, and it was easier that way, at least for me. The case is super easy to work with, it has so many potential, everything is spacious enough and you can stuff a ton of stuff behind the motherboard because it's a dual chamber design. This is where I hid the RGB controller and a bunch of cables to make it all look nice. Okay, yes, I know you are eager to see the performance, so let me put it this way. It's insane. No, actually, it's extremely insane. On air, this particular CPU was hitting 86 to 92 degrees in most extreme AIDA64 tests. With an AIO, it was in lower 70s, but with this kit, actually the whole loop, which I am repeating once more, includes a GPU as well. It never exceeded 68 degrees Celsius, and This is with an overclocked CPU, so pretty much I was mind blown, but where things got more interesting, actually surprisingly suspicious, was the GPU temperature. The maximum temperature is 43 degrees under full 4K load in gaming. So this is a drop of exactly 30 degrees Celsius, as this card almost always had 70 degrees while gaming. But now it has 43 tops. I never had that temperature, not even when this card was idling, so if you're wondering, is this kit worth over an AIO, even for the CPU only? My answer is yes, 100 times yes, and this is why I am giving it a golden award. The build quality is exceptional. Raijintek also offers a manual to give you an example on how a loop can look, but this is totally up to you, the user, because every PC build and every loop is unique, so this is just for demonstration purposes to show you how a loop can look. The price of this 360 kit is around 375 euros and 279 for the 240 kit. The soft tube variants are some 30 euros less, but why should you consider this kit over any other similar DIY kit? Well, for start, the price is significantly lower than the similar kits offered by Corsair, Thermaltake or EK or any other brand. But this kit exceeds those in terms of cooling potential, and secondly, you are getting a D5 pump here, which concludes that this is a no-brainer deal. It's also a great starting point for more advanced users who wish to expand the kit with additional radiators and include the GPU in the loop like I did here. So that is all for today, guys. Sub to the channel, as there will be more water cooling stuff in the future and more PC builds. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down there in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.